And welcome everyone to another edition of Sports Spectrum's Weekly Slant. I am Jason Romano, and this is Faith, and this is Football, the only show of its kind out there. And we are so excited to have you joining us here on the show today. And we got a great conversation coming up with Cade Klubnik. He is a Clemson high school quarterback recruit who's doing his thing at Westlake High School down in Austin, Texas right now. We're going to get to that conversation with Cade in a second. He's going to be playing for this guy over my left shoulder here, Dabo Sweeney. So Cade's going to be playing for Dabo. We're going to talk about Cade's journey to Clemson, talk about his faith in Jesus as well. But this picture over my left shoulder is actually the cover of our latest Sports Spectrum magazine. I actually have a copy right here, and I want to spend a second to just tell you why I think you should consider subscribing to this magazine. Number one, it's a great resource. If you want to get this magazine for your child, for a small group, maybe even for yourself to just be encouraged in your faith, get the Sports Spectrum magazine. So that's number one. It's a great resource. Number two, the only way that you can get 20% off is through this show. See, if you use the code SLANT20, you get 20% off Sports Spectrum's magazine, a 1-year or a 2-year subscription. So that's an even better deal than you can get anywhere else. You can get 10%, 15% in certain places, 20%. It's the best deal you're going to find around for Sports Spectrum's magazine, and it's only for you watching Sports Spectrum's Weekly Slant. So use that code SLANT20, go to sportspectrum.com and order your Sports Spectrum magazine subscription today. It makes a great gift. Christmas is coming up, birthdays. Sports Spectrum magazine is the way to go. Check it out and order today at sportspectrum.com. All right, let's get to our conversation with Cade Klubnik, Westlake High School, Austin, Texas. He's a stud. I'm telling you, he's going to Clemson next year to play quarterback for Dabo Sweeney. He won a state title last year. His team is undefeated right now, and they're on the verge to going to another state title this year. They were in the state championship and won it 2 years ago when Cade was a backup. So it's been really fun. If you know anything about Texas high school football, it's kind of a big deal. And Cade is kind of a big deal on the team that's probably going to be a really big problem for a lot of other teams come playoff time. So let's get to know Cade Klubnik, Clemson recruit, quarterback, Westlake High School. It's coming up right now as we talk faith in football here on Sports Spectrum's Weekly Slant. And we are joined today on Sports Spectrum's Weekly Slant by Cade Klubnik. He is the Westlake, Austin, Texas high school quarterback. And he's also a recruit at Clemson, Dabo Sweeney calling his name, and looking forward to having him wear that orange and purple next year. But Cade is with us today, our first high school guest on the Weekly Slant. What's up, Cade?
What's going on?
How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good,
I'm doing
man.
good. Excited to be on this. I'm super pumped.
Yeah, this will be great. We've had NFL coaches, we've had NFL players, we've had Pro Football Hall of Fame quarterbacks, we've had college coaches. Now we get to talk to you. And let's start off right at the top here, because anybody that follows you knows you're going to be coming to Clemson next year, watching you maybe in Austin or the Texas area, and is excited for this season. You're not playing right now. You actually had a shoulder and an arm injury. Tell us what happened a couple of weeks ago and how you're progressing.
Yeah, so I would say about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was just kind of running down the left sideline, and guy fell right in front of me, and nothing I could really do about it. Just kind of tripped me up, and then another guy was running behind me and just kind of landed on my left shoulder a little funky. But, luckily no surgery and nothing too long-term. It through a lot of praying, it's honestly been healing really good, and I'm hoping to be back in the next couple of weeks and hopefully by playoffs. But it's been progressing really well, so better than it should be. So it's been going really good.
And your team is clearly doing well, and they're stacked because you're 8-0 and you won some games without you. Tell us about the uniqueness of this team, because you guys had an amazing run last year, winning the state championship, and obviously you want to make a go for it again this year. Tell us about this year's team and the uniqueness of it, maybe compared to the last couple years.
Yeah, I mean, last year was a real special team, just with COVID and everything. I mean, just the off season, we all just came together really tight, and it was just, there was a lot, it just felt really, really important to play last season, because we didn't know if we were playing on Friday. We didn't know when we started the practice on Monday if we were going to be playing on Friday, because
Yeah.
like that game could get pulled away from us, and like it just made us not take for granted every day, and just every time getting to be out there with our coaches and with our teammates, it made us just enjoy it all and want it so much more. Um, and I think that's just been a huge point in like in helping our culture of the school is like don't just go through the motions. Take every day for not for granted, and like just enjoy every single moment that you're out there, because like before you know it, it's gone. And just don't wish any moment away. And just I mean I've been living at like my whole life like that the past couple months, just with I'm graduating early in January. And but I think it's just been a culture thing with our team now. It's just we want every practice so bad to be the best. And it's just the expectation now, and it's been really good. I think our offense just overall is just amazing. We have so much just veteran talent all the way around. We don't have a missing piece in our offense. From our O line, I mean, we got probably without a doubt the best O line in the nation.
Mm.
Our receivers are stacked. We don't have a missing piece. We have depth. And then we got 3 great running backs that I know any 3 of them could step in there and get the job done. So it's just so fun. It makes my job so much easier, and just we all have such good relationships, though. I mean, it's just a fun time.
Mm. So if people watching, certainly from a national level, may know your name, maybe not haven't seen you play, they've heard of you, maybe saw some highlights here or there, maybe saw a game on ESPN or something. But describe your style of play if you're putting on your own analyst hat and kind of breaking down Cade Klubnik's game.
Yeah.
What is the style of game that you play?
So like I've always liked to use the word mobile, and like people can take that different ways, but like with me, like a true pro style is like a Tom Brady. Like
Mm.
that's your type of pro style. But like to me, a dual threat is Lamar Jackson, and like I almost feel like there should be more than the two.
Yeah, there's a
I
lot
mean
of
I feel
guys
like
in between that. Like a Dak
exactly,
Prescott is not,
exactly.
you
Dak
know,
Prescott,
is like that.
Trevor Lawrence, he can move around.
Of course.
Deshaun Watson,
Yeah.
I mean, he's a pocket passer. He can throw the ball like crazy.
Russell Wilson,
Um,
right? Yeah.
exactly. But they can also skin it sometimes.
Hmm.
So I mean, I always think myself kind of a mobile guy. I can get away from some pressure and use my legs when I need to. But when I escape, I'm always keeping my eyes downfield and looking to throw first when I escape the pocket. And I think a lot of dual threats are once they get out there, they're ready to skin it. So, yeah,
Yeah. So you know this, and I think part of why you said maybe yes to this interview request was because we bring faith into the conversation here at
yeah,
Sports Spectrum, and certainly with the weekly slant and the show that we've been doing, it's maybe the only faith in football show that I can find on a national level that's out there. And let's talk about that faith for you, Cade, because I think a lot of people, we hear faith, or maybe we just say, yeah, thank you, God. But there's a deepness, I think, to your faith that I've watched from afar that I'd love to kind of dive into a little bit and hear
let's
kind of the
do it.
importance of Christ in your life, and maybe what that role is that Jesus has in your life each and every day.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it's everything. I had somebody ask me a question yesterday, like, how do you deal with the pressure? And I'm like, just the pressure with football and the pressure of just recruiting and being I don't like to say this, but just like being a Clemson commit and then going into your senior year, like the expectations that you should have. And it's like, I
Yeah.
don't feel any pressure because I know that like when I'm out there, I'm not playing for anybody that's trying to judge me. I'm not
Mm.
playing for any of them. I'm not playing for the media. I'm not playing for Coach Sweeney. I'm not playing for my own head coach. Like I'm playing for God. And like, I always put in my Instagram, captions now AO1 and like audience of one. Like that's just like something that I just like really try to live by. And like every time you step on the field, you're not playing for yourself. You're playing for the Lord and to glorify Him in everything that you do. And that's just like it's just that's how you should live in general, is glorifying God in everything that you do. So like when I step on the field, like God gave me these abilities to play football and the motivation to get better in the off season and just the grit and the want to get better in everything that I do in the sport. So like when I get to go step on the field, I just feel like I'm playing for Him and just feeling the joy that He's given me to go play. And it's just I just feel like how could there ever be any pressure? It's
Yeah.
just it stepping on people ask me all the time, like, do you get nervous before games? I'm like, I didn't get nervous before a state championship game.
Yeah.
I didn't get nervous. I just haven't really ever gotten nervous before when it comes to sports. And it's like, I just like just something I love to do. I mean, like I grew up wishing to be in this place that I'm at and just dreaming of it. How could I ever be nervous now that I'm here? I'm just gonna go enjoy it and just let it all in and just go have fun with it. And just think that's just kind of the person that God made me to be, and just love having fun playing the game. And at the end of the day, it's still just a game. So
Well, you've had a lot of success on the field, but then you have the injury, and I wonder, that's really the moment when our faith is truly tested, or we have to
yeah,
put it, and we have to activate it, right? I've heard that
yeah,
activating your faith. It's when things aren't going so well, and you have that
yeah.
injury, and you're not on the field to be there playing with your teammates. What was that like, even over the last few weeks, just kind of activating your faith in a different way? Because it's easy to say God is great when you're winning state championships and you're on
Yeah,
top of the mountain, but when you're
yeah.
injured, it's a little different. So tell me about that and kind of walk us through what that's been like the last few weeks for you.
Yeah, I mean, I would say a couple things. I would say, first of all, it's probably been some of the most fun weeks I've probably ever had because one of my best friends, his name's Christian Edgar, and we like probably hang out almost every day, but we just, we'll probably go to lunch once a week and just, he's probably just one of my closest friends when it comes to just living through Christ together on the football team. And he's just such a good light for him. And just is always just eager to just become more like Christ every day. And he's my
Mhm.
backup. So just to be able to watch him play and just, the first week of his starter, he threw 6 touchdowns. He had 6 touchdowns and 92% completion rate. And like,
That's okay. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
just lit up for him. And like, but it was also just so humbling.
Yeah.
I know like when I start throwing again, like it's just going to be like a different feeling because like, it's going to be like it can be taken away anytime. Just with all the momentum that's just kind of built up since the start of last season, there hasn't been a lot of diversity when it comes to football. So like when I could just have a little diversity and just be humbled a little bit and just kind of like not that I was really getting cocky, but just like to just kind of sit back and just like realize what's going on for a sec again and just enjoy every moment, just like I was saying earlier. So
Yeah, it's like an appreciation for the game that you may not even have
yeah,
had a
yeah,
month ago
exactly.
until you get hurt, right?
There's a lot of people that could wish that they could even be on the football team and just be a part of it. So just to kind of be a part of this 82 player squad, and it's been awesome.
So I want to go back to the summer a little bit for you, participating in camps like Elite 11 and winning the MVP, which is such a cool thing. You have a lot of eyeballs on you. You kind of alluded to that a little bit. What was it like going through those moments over the last, I don't know, maybe 9 months, 10 months? Certainly, it's not just Texas now, but it's the whole country kind of knowing who you are a little bit if they pay attention to college football, certainly to Clemson. What's that been like, kind of handling though the expectations, like you said, the eyeballs on you, the people patting you on your back, and you needed to kind of stay humble a little bit and kind of walk through this process? What's it been like for you? Just, I'm guessing 17, 18 years old, still a young
Yeah.
kid.
Um, it's been a good experience. But also just like to back it up, like I didn't do anything to get myself here. And I
Yeah,
think
that's
just
good.
the people that have surrounded me and like I'm all about just having my base of people and like my go-to 5 or 6 people that I'm gonna have for the rest of my life. And my 2 mentors, my parents, my family, my really close friends that you know are people that will give me unbiased opinions on stuff and like will really give me honest, really good, just quality info on if I ever need anything. And just kind of my go-to people. Like those guys, those people are my rock. And like um, they just really help me realize like it doesn't matter like what they say about you. And like that's just really been something really important to me. And um, but yeah, I mean it's been awesome just to kind of be able to be in this experience though, and just to kind of learn from the people that have come before me has also been all the do's and all the don'ts. And in today's society, there's a lot more don'ts,
Hmm.
and how to just deal with it all. So just to kind of look at the people who did it right, and it's been really cool to kind of learn from them and just kind of mock their kind of, I don't know, mojo, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's been really cool. I think when it just comes to like everything that's been going on, I've just been enjoying it, but realizing that don't take the highest highs as the highest highs. And
Hmm.
then don't take the lowest lows as the lowest lows, and just kind of just enjoy it all, but realize, win Elite 11 can't be the peak of life. So, although
That's
it's
right.
something that I'll always remember, and it was just such an amazing experience, and I'm definitely very proud of just the way that I got to show out, but it was cool. So
Yeah, and as you should be proud, but at the same time, remembering it's not the be on end all of anything, winning
exactly.
an award at an Elite 11, but it is pretty cool. You did mention your mom and dad as mentors. I'd love to hear kind of your thoughts on mom and dad and being there for you. I have to imagine been vital for you during this whole process of trying to figure out where you're going to go in your future. It's a lot of pressure for a 16 or 17-year-old kid to have to kind of deal with, and yet your faith grounding you, I'm imagining, comes a little bit from them too. Tell me about mom and dad.
Yeah. Both of my parents mean so much to me. I mean, they've just kind of breed me the person I am today, just since I was a little kid. It's all like we're just enjoying every moment. Like it just feels every moment that we get to have together just seems so surreal. It just doesn't feel like it's real, and like
Mhm.
it just feels like something we would always talk about like growing up, and like just dang, imagine if you're like the varsity quarterback one day, like just being able to like come home after a game and like be with my parents like that. That's just like we just enjoy it so much. And like my mom probably says once a week, like, I can't believe like this is actually happening.
That's
Like,
cool. Yeah.
we just enjoy it all. And yeah, I mean, it's always just, but like when it comes to the faith and like, I gave my life to Lord at a young age with my dad when I was younger. And, we go to a great church here in Austin. And just, it's definitely just something that has just always been a part of my life. And it's just really taken off over the past, I would say, 2 years and year and a half, just not even because of football, but just the people that God has kind of put in my life and the mentors that have kind of come into my life. So it's been really good.
That's great. Cade Klubnik's with us here on Sports Spectrum. I would love to hear the man over my left shoulder. For those watching, I'm holding the magazine as well as Dabo Sweeney is on the cover of our new Sports Spectrum magazine, and that's going to be your coach next year.
Yeah.
You are a Clemson commit. I'd love to hear the story of the first time that maybe it was your dad or maybe it was just you and having that conversation, or maybe your parents and your whole family with Coach Sweeney and what that was like.
Yeah. Well, during the recruiting process, COVID was still going on. So the first time I really got to talk with him, first probably couple months, I really got to talk with him was over Zoom or
Mm,
FaceTime. And like, you can just tell there's just something different about the guy. And growing up, like you see the energy that he has. It's so much different than anybody else when it comes to college football, and like just the love that he has for people, and just his memory, like when it comes to meeting people, is absurd. Like
mm,
we like ran into a person at like an ice cream shop in Clemson that he saw like 2 years ago, and he like remembered their name and like was like it's just like crazy stuff. Like,
wow.
but he's just such an amazing person. But he's such a player's coach. Like he really cares about every single player and making them a better man after 4 years that they're there. And but just like during the recruiting process, it's like, how would I not want to go play for this person?
Mm,
Like, how could I turn this down? Like, I don't understand how any recruit would ever want to turn this guy down. He just seems like the best guy. And he's just an amazing person. And that just all comes from the Lord. You can see it in everything that he does. I was at this summer. I went on a visit and we did the Clemson camp. Like they just wanted me to go through some drills and stuff. And halfway through the camp, there's 400 or 500 kids there. And he just randomly got everybody together, 500 kids, all the family. He just got a microphone and started talking about God.
hmm.
And then Coach Elliott, the OC, just started sharing his testimony. And then I can't remember but another one just started talking like for 30 minutes, and like it was like, who else does that? It's just that question that you just hear so many times from people that love the Lord. And God's the answer to that question. So
Well,
yeah.
obviously, you have to do what's best for you in your future with football, with education, but the faith component had to come into play here, I would
Yeah,
imagine, when you meet Coach, right?
100%, 100%. Um, just like when I was looking at schools, it was like, I don't know, I don't remember exactly my criteria, but like faith and the culture was just had to be up there. I think that was like number 3 for me on just like what it was like. I just don't want to go to a school that's just going to be cruddy and just not great people, and
Mm.
just somewhere I can grow in those 4 years and go uphill in my faith, not downhill. So yeah.
When you went through the recruiting process, were you able to enjoy it, or was it just becoming so overwhelming that you were like, all right, this needs to just end, especially, I guess, in the midst of a pandemic, right? When it's
Yeah,
happening, were you able to enjoy that process?
I would say
Yeah.
for the first few months I was really enjoying it, and then when it got down to like the final month, I was like, I mean, season was over. I was getting like probably 5 or 6 phone calls a day from coaches, and I would have to talk to each of them for like 30 minutes. So like I was actually doing like I was going downhill in school because like I would be having to take all these phone calls all day
Yeah.
from people that like I end up just having to start telling them like it's kind of probably not going to happen. But like end up just getting to the point where it was like so much happening that like talking to Clemson was the only relief, because like there was a school, I'm not going to say who, but like every Monday at 4 p.m. he would call me. He would say, "Hey, Cade, how's it going?" Put on, handed the phone to the head coach. He go, "Hey, buddy, how's it going? Here's the stadium." And you do it every time. You want to go play
Mm.
here? Boom, hand it back to the coach. All right, sweet. I'll talk to you next week. Have a good week. Boom. This time,
Wow.
and then like with the Clemson coaches and Coach Streeter and Coach Sweeney, and like Coach Sweeney called me on the way uh, up a ski lift, like out of nowhere, just started FaceTiming me. I'm like, okay, like it was just so random. Just like started asking me how my week was, and just like it was just so genuine. It just didn't feel like I was a box on a checklist. You know what I mean? It
Mm.
just felt like people act like they really actually wanted to talk to me, and everybody that I've met at Clemson has been the exact same way.
Mm.
And Coach Sweeney is just like on top of it. Like he only hires people that are going to be like that. And it's not like they're all just trying to impress him. It's like that's actually the people that he's hiring. Like that's actually who they are. And I remember I went on a visit last fall, but we couldn't go and meet with the coaches. And I was like, Coach Tree is like, is there anything that I could do that you think would just kind of help? Because he was like, we just want you to get you a game so you can just kind of see it all. I was like, is there anything that I should do? And he was like, the only thing that he said was try to go talk to as many people at Clemson as you can. It
Mm.
doesn't matter if they're a waitress, a student, an old lady, like it doesn't matter. Just try to go talk to as many people as you can. And it was like everybody that we met, whether it was a random student that we talked to at night and just asking him like what do you like about Clemson or anything, like everybody was just an amazing person. And like they just all talked about how much they love Clemson, and they're just there wasn't a bad conversation. And I think that just showed how much like it wasn't just the football team, it was the whole school, just the culture that they had there. And it was just amazing people there that I'm just really excited to be a part of. So
No, it's going to be fun to watch you there for sure. It's interesting too. The high school that you went to, Westlake High School, people watching me be like, I think I've heard of that before.
yeah,
Well, there's a couple of Super Bowl MVPs that have played
yeah,
there. Maybe the greatest kicker of all time played
yeah,
there, Justin Tucker, with the Ravens. But Drew Brees and Nick Foles both went to the high school that you've gone to. So I would just be curious. I'm guessing you've met both of them or at least had
yeah.
conversations with them. What has that been like, kind of playing at the school where you have a couple of guys that are just kind of overlooking this legend of playing at Westlake when you think about Nick and when you think about Drew?
Yeah, it's definitely just such an honor, just to be able to kind of throw on the same red W as they did, and just to kind of walk the same hallways that they even got to walk. It's such an honor, and it just definitely just big shoes to fill with every quarterback that gets to, take on that job. It's definitely just such a cool thing. It's just something I've kind of always bragged on is, yeah, Drew Brees, Nick Foles, Justin Tucker, Sam Ellinger, they all went to my high school.
That's right.
Wherever I go, and like it's just such a cool thing. And just they're all amazing people that love just kind of giving back. I was just talking to Nick last week.
Mm-hmm.
I got to kind of talk to him a little bit more, so just had amazing advice, and he's always just been a really good guy. And then Sam is probably now maybe the backup at the Colts, so I mean he
Yeah.
just he's always been an amazing person. His faith has taken off lately, the kind of this year, so it's been really cool to see.
Tell me about Nick and not necessarily your conversation. Obviously that's private, but just what it's been like to pick a brain from a guy like that. Talk about
Yeah.
adversity, right? This is a guy who's
Yeah.
seen the mountaintop and he's seen the valleys and he's gone through it. That's got to be helpful, I would imagine, when you're trying to navigate through a little bit of a valley over the last couple of weeks for you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, tons of advice, but it's all just been Christ centered.
Mm.
It's like with every question I ask him, it's like he answers like in a Christ like way, and then he'll end my question with answers that you can read out of the Bible. It's a Bible verse that answers the question. Almost, if you know what I'm saying. But it's
No,
like,
that's Nick. I know Nick pretty well, and that is
you know,
exactly who he is.
yeah, it's awesome just to kind of see that, and I'm really excited to just hopefully grow that relationship even more, and so yeah.
That's good. So I got two more questions for you. The first one is, in your short period of time, you've been a starting quarterback for a couple of years. I know you were kind of learning a couple of years back, and last year you took the reins and went off with it, obviously winning a national title. By the way, you played at Cowboy Stadium. I didn't even get a chance to ask you that. That must have been ridiculous, playing at
Yeah.
AT&T Stadium, trying to win a state championship where the Cowboys play. Must have
Yeah.
been pretty awesome experience.
Yeah. It was awesome just to, I don't even know how many fans we had there, but it was actually the most attended sporting event that whole year in the
Yeah.
state of Texas.
Yeah.
Was the state championship game,
It
and
wasn't a
it
Cowboys
was a,
regular season game. It wasn't a bowl game. It was your
wasn't
game.
wasn't a college game, wasn't an NFL game, wasn't any other high school game. It was our game. So it was pretty cool. It was really cool, and you know South Lake was in Dallas, so they obviously had the home advantage. But we had an amazing show out from Westlake. Just fans really came out, and it was really cool. It was
No,
definitely,
I can
I,
imagine.
I just I just remember sitting there with two of my buddies after the game. Like everybody's left the field, and I was just like, guys, like look around, like look where we are right now. Like this is
Yeah.
absurd. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like we just won a state championship after a 14-0 season. And it was pretty cool.
Well, that wasn't my question. I just came to me though that you did win at Cowboy Stadium, and I just thought,
Yeah.
man, being 16 years old or 17 and kind of doing that is just crazy. But what do you think in the short time that you've been playing football and been even alive and watching guys like Drew and Nick and others, and Sam? What do you think makes a great leader? What is a great leader in your mind?
Um, yeah, I mean, I would say a couple things. Just selflessness, putting everybody else above you, being able to take the blame even whenever it's not your fault. Um, Selflessness, leading through action and in vocalness.
Mm.
Um, just being able to get guys. You don't have to be the crazy man that's out there, but just being able to encourage and never discourage. Always bringing people up, never people down. I think those are just always such key components when it comes to being a leader. And I mean that's in all phases of life. So yeah, I mean I think they do it the best.
Yeah. The greatest leader I've ever seen is Jesus. And he said, I came
Yep,
not to be served, but to serve. So,
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
there's your
Just
model right there.
being a servant of others. So
Yeah, that's good. Last question. How can we be praying for you as you get ready? You heal
yeah,
up here. Hopefully, you're going for another state title, but you got a lot of things in front of you. Certainly with Clemson, just graduating high school early. It sounded like I think you said that earlier in
yep,
January. So lots of great things happening. I got a daughter who's graduating high school this year too, and I'm walking that with her. Just like, man, there's a lot of uncertainty, and yet there's a lot of exciting things to be thinking about.
yeah.
What can we be praying for you? Those that are watching, our Sports Spectrum staff. What can we be praying for you, Cade?
First of all, thank you. I would, I would say a couple things. First of all, just to, enjoy every day that I'm here. I'm not me and my parents and stuff. We're not counting down the days like every day, but just enjoy every moment and, not take a day for granted and just, live up every opportunity and, just try to be a light to as many people as I can. Not just have the mentality, well, I'm not ever gonna see this person again in 2 months, so I can be a
Mhm.
mean person to them, but just if anything, be a light to them. Because if you never see them again, you want them to realize, hey, wait, that guy actually might have kind of been saying something
Mhm.
10 years ago. You know what I mean? Just trying to be a light to everybody, and but just to hopefully just continue to do that and just continue to just breed friendships to the best that I can to maybe it's some people that don't know Christ right now and kind of leave them questioning it if they don't know anything right now and maybe hit me up in a couple months if they don't know what's happening. So that, and just to continue to be a light to maybe people that don't know Jesus, and try to maybe, you know, try to reach out to somebody this week that doesn't know him and have that opportunity to have a good conversation with somebody. Um, and then I was just say to heal up and try to enjoy the season, and but also just to be hopefully surrounded by amazing people once I get to Clemson, and people that can really just, breed me to be a better man once I get there, and just become closer to the Lord. Just, be develop just great relationships once I get there. So yeah.
Well, that's good stuff, Cade. We appreciate it. We definitely will be praying for you. Hopefully we'll see you back on the field sooner than later, and all the best to you. Maybe another state championship is in the mix, but either way, God's got great plans for you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all.
And many thanks to Cade Klubnik, the Clemson quarterback recruit, Westlake High School. I hope he's back sooner than later. I really do. They got a big rivalry game coming up in a week and a half or so against Lake Travis. Be interesting to see if Cade could play in that game. We don't know yet. Obviously, we hope he heals and has an opportunity to play. But if he doesn't, he's got a capable backup. I mean, 6 touchdowns and 90% completion percentage in his first game. I mean, that's pretty good. But hopefully we'll see Cade back on the field so he can finish out his senior year on the field and making a run at another state championship with Westlake. In Austin, Texas, Texas high school football. There is nothing like Texas high school football. Thanks to Cade for being here today on Sports Spectrum. You can follow him on Twitter and Instagram and let him know that you heard his story here on the weekly Slant. We thank you for tuning in as well. Again, at the bottom of your screen, all the information you need to subscribe to Sports Spectrum's magazine and get the best deal around. It's not available for 20% anywhere else except right here on Sports Spectrum's weekly Slant. Use that code SLANT20. Go to sportspectrum.com and you can get the Sports Spectrum magazine delivered right to your home. It's a great gift, a great resource. It's Christmas time, Thanksgiving, birthdays, whatever it is. This is the time to order Sports Spectrum's magazine. Check it out again at sportspectrum.com. All right, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week for another edition of Sports Spectrum's weekly Slant. Brock Heward's going to be joining us. He's going to be hosting the show next week. It's going to be fantastic. So we'll see you then, right here on Sports Spectrum's weekly Slant.